Hello guys, and welcome back to DIY Workshop. So here we have a 2004 CBF 600, and this one has developed a weird idle. So basically it runs rough like a dog, and if you try and rev it, it will choke and stall unless you rev it really slowly up to 3000 RPMs, which in that case just runs perfectly fine. So if you are experiencing this problem, most likely you'll have either a leak on your vacuum valves, or you could have a problem with your petcock, or you could have problems with your pilot jets in your carbs. And in this case, we've checked all the tubings. There is absolutely no carb or vacuum leaks. The petcock is fine, so we ended up having to remove the carbs. And this is a look of it without the carb bank. It is dirty, it will need to be cleaned. And if we scoot up here to the side, we will see our carb bank. And this is what we're going to be working on today, so stay tuned. Okay, so here's a carburetor bank, and first thing we're going to do is take off the bottom bits where the pilot jets are, and then we're going to take the top parts where the diaphragms are. Most of the times it's going to be the pilot jets that are going to be just clogged, because as we mentioned, we looked at the piping that was going from the tank to the carburetors, and there was no puncture, nothing, no leaks there, so there was not a vacuum leak there. Another reason that you can get the rough idle is that you might get vacuum leaks on the boots. Now these boots, although they are old and dirty, they are not broken or cut or anything else, so you will not get a vacuum leak from this. So the problem, it's not these ones. So I'm going to put this on the side, we're going to clean them. But that only leaves us with the fact that it could be one of the pilot jets that's actually clogged or gunked up. Now, to do that, what you need to do is you need to unscrew all of these bolts from the cover, and they are really stuck. They usually tend to be, I've loosened up all mine, but if you realize that they are too stuck, what you can do is you can use one of these pliers and just clamp them here on the side and just rotate them. That actually worked for me. So now let's have a look and see what we have here. So I'm just going to unscrew all of these. And also another thing that you might notice that the bolts from the bottom are really similar from the ones here on the top. So one of the, and like this one for example, one of the ways you can do to differentiate is that the ones at the bottom, they come with a little washer. Not sure if this is going to focus. They come with a little washer at the bottom, and that's how you differentiate them. So just a little pro tip. So we're gonna actually put these on the side, and then let me just fast forward this for you guys, and then we'll look at the inside of the carb. Another thing you can do is, like, all these screws are the same size, so once you take the bottom of the carb, you can just open it up. Oh, and by the way, look, this green here, it's manky and needs a clean. So we're just going to use this as an excuse to actually do some cleaning on the whole thing instead of just doing the pilot jets. Okay, so once you take the bottom of it, you'll see the gasket here. These ones are actually not that bad. Some of them are a bit gunked. If they are too bad, you can always replace them. Now, a little piece of advice, the CBF 600 has exactly the same engine as the CB 600, which is also the same engine as the CBR 600F. So what you need to do is you can actually, instead of just looking for the actual gaskets for the CBF 600, which are going to be way more expensive, you can always look for the ones for the CBR 600F or for the CB 600, and they tend to be cheaper, and they're exactly the same gaskets. So just a little pro tip. So now that you've taken all of these out, we'll have a look at the jets and see which one would be the one that would have caused this issue. And just by looking at it, I can see that this one, which would be on piston number 2, which is carburetor number 2, is gunked up. And I'm going to zoom this in for you guys to see. There you go. As you can see, it has some green deposits. I'll post the picture on the side, but yeah, it's pretty dirty, and this is what we would now need to clean. So to take the main jet, these are the main jets here at the top. Just focus here. So these ones are the main jets, and these smaller ones here are the pilot jets. So this is where the actual petrol fills in, and then these are the floats, and they look pretty good to me, but for now let's just remove just the pilot jets. For that you will need a flathead screwdriver that's actually big enough to actually bite within the grooves. You don't want a smaller one because that will shear off, because these are made of brass, which is soft material. So you need to have one that would actually fit in just right, like this one for example. And once you do it, you just literally unscrew, and you can take this bit off on the main jet, just put it here on the side, and then you can unscrew this. Well, but before we do that, we're going to take the diaphragms out from the bottom. The pilot jet we can actually take by itself like this. So that's what we're going to focus first. Take the pilot jets off, just put them here on the side so we can give them a proper clean. There you go. A bit stuck. Now number 3. There you go. You need to be real careful not to damage the pilot jets, because otherwise you're gonna have to buy them and they're expensive as hell, and you end up having a bigger problem that you had originally. There you go. And there you go. These are the pilot jets, and as you can see, for the pilot jets, they have little holes in, and to clean these, what you need to do is you need to grab one of these, grab a little plier, and just take a teeny tiny bit of hair out. So you take one of the little brushes, one of the hairs from these brushes, they're all made of brass, and you can actually use it, you straighten it out and use it to clean the jet and all these holes in. Right. So to clean this, you will also have to use carburetor cleaning fluid. So there you go. Now we've removed all of the pilot jets. We're just gonna turn this upside down, and we're gonna take the diaphragms. So to do that, same thing. You just unscrew screws at the top, and these are different, smaller in size. Some of them might be identical, but for this specific motorcycle, you can actually differentiate them, because they're way smaller than ones at the bottom. Now, you need to be careful when you're doing the diaphragms, because they're easily damaged. Then they're easy to be damaged, and once that happens, yeah, you're gonna end up with a really expensive problem. So you take the screw out, and then there's a spring. As you can see, just put it on the side, and this is the diaphragm. So you need to be careful when removing these, and try not to handle them too much, only as much as it's necessary, so we don't have to remove them, because this rubber is super fragile. All right. Okay, so now that I've removed the caps, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the diaphragms really carefully. And here they are with the needle in, and we're just going to put them in a place where they won't be disturbed. Okay, so I would suggest you guys having a really thin screwdriver, and just from here, from the screw area, you can actually just pry it out gently without damaging it. Just enough for you to flip it out. And then you can use a little bit to pry out here at the corner where the tabs are, so you can actually pull them and they will come out. here they are. So let's just put these on the side. And all right, so now let's flip them back all the way up again. And let's remove the rest of the main jets. Same thing, get a flathead that's snug enough for you to be able to rotate them without damaging them. Ooh, almost. So you need to make sure that they're not too stuck. We don't want to damage these. There you go. One down. Put it here on the side. Okay, now the main jets are good to go. Now for these you might need a socket wrench, or you might need a spanner. Now the size for this, I will guess it's a size, no, not 8, so it will be a 7. Let's see. There you go, size 7. So you just unscrew them. There you go. Again, make sure that you don't break them because they're made out of brass. And here they are, the main jets. You put them here on the side, and you do the same for all the other ones. Now that all of these parts are out, what we need to do is, we're not going to take anything else out, we're just going to give it a proper clean, and we're going to start by cleaning the jets. And to do that, you're going to use a carburetor cleaning. That's a lifesaver. And also you'll need a toothbrush. So I got a little set of old, they're like low quality toothbrushes that I'm just going to use for the purpose of this. And we're going to give it a proper clean, and I'll cut that back to when everything is clean. So, and I'm going to grab a little bowl, and we're going to put some carb cleaner in, and we're going to start cleaning the jets. And to clean this, again, as I mentioned, you use a toothbrush, and we give the proper scrub, and then you use a little piece of hair from one of these brushes, because they're like, these are brass brushes, and it's good to clean like the little holes from the jets. So this is what you're going to be doing. So I'm just going to speed this up until all of them are cleaned. Okay, now that we got our jets cleaned, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put these on the side, make sure that they don't get dirty again. So let me just wrap these up properly, and then we're gonna start cleaning the actual carburetor bank. We're gonna start where the petcock's laid in, because this is just absolutely manky. And again, you can use petrol, or you can use carb cleaner to do this. And I'm just gonna give it a quick brush with some carb cleaner, and just make sure that everything is nice and clean. Use your toothbrush, and you just give it a nice scrub. And this will take some time, so again, I will get back to you guys once I finish doing this. Okay, so see you soon. Okay, so now we're gonna give, like I gave a thorough clean onto this. What I'm gonna do is just make sure that the insides of the pipes might need replacing or not. So in this case, we're just gonna literally take them out, replace them with new ones, and just make sure that they're not clogged as well, and also getting rid of all this rust and gunk. Okay, so this is the one that was connecting to cylinder 2. This is the one that actually the petrol comes from the tank into the carburetor. So all the gunk, if you have like bad petrol and everything else, it will come on this side, and then it gets distributed to the other carburetor, to the other 3 carburetors. So this is the one you need to make sure that it's clean, replace the pipes and everything else. It's also good to replace just this one. Just having a quick look against the light, just to see how much of gunked up this this pipe is, because we are trying to diagnose the problem here and not just cleaning. So it does seem to be unobstructed, but either way, it's always nice to replace them. And that's pretty much it. Now what we're gonna do is just replace all the gaskets and everything else, and then reassemble everything, which is basically the beginning of the video, but in reverse order. And we're gonna start with the actual diaphragms. So I'm just need to slide them, like make sure that everything is lined up, including the needle. And there you go, just like that. And then you just press gently on the diaphragm just to put it in place. And once that is done, we put the spring in, the caps, and it's good to go. So I'm just going to do it for every single one of them. Now, a good tip to put the diaphragms back into the housing is literally you just grab your diaphragm and you just gently reverse it. And then when you put it into the slot, you make sure that the needle aligns with the hole here on the inside, and that your O-rings are all in line, and then you just press it down. There you go, as easy as you can get. And then you just make sure that everything is lined up, and you also need to make sure that the edges of the diaphragm are in the grooves. And it's also a good idea to just put a little bit of lubricant here on the side, just to make sure that everything is seated properly. So let's do the last one. There you go. And push down. Then just make sure that everything was in place. Now I'm gonna get a little bit of lube, and then just close it all off. Okay, so now what we need to do is we just need to align the tops of it, and then just gently press it down, align the holes, make sure that the spring is seated into the inside of the diaphragm, and then you just need to tighten these bolts, which I'm actually having here soaked to be cleaned and degreased, so I am not going to do that now. Let me just clean these bolts first, but I can just put the springs in. And then we are good to go. Once we finish with this side, we can then do the rest of it. Okay, so finally a fully assembled carburetor bank. So this is all proper cleaned, and oh, actually I'm missing a couple of pipes. What am I doing here? This was gonna go awfully bad. Alright, so just making sure that this all goes into place. So you go here and you go here.